search up on the internet. So I decided that the most reliable source of information would come from the friends and family whom Todd and Jack would spend this special day with. So Todd, I wrote down a few words with which some of them used to describe you. A great friend, thoughtful, caring, trusting, and charismatic. In fact, I barely found a person who had a bad word to say, although I did find some. When I heard belligerent, ungrateful, lazy, stubborn, and obstinate, I thought, hang on, that's a bit rough. Maybe not entirely untrue, but certainly unnecessary for a best man speech. But if his parents don't know him, who does? As best man, part of my role is to make sure the wedding goes smoothly. And in my notes, I mentioned 3 important parts of today's service. Aisle, the longest walk you will ever take. Altar, the place where two become one. And hymn, the celebration of marriage. Now, I'm pretty sure that Jackie saw my notes earlier today, because when she was walking up the aisle, I swear I heard her saying, "I'll alter him. I'll alter him."
Good. That's good, that's good.
On a more serious note, let me say that the bridesmaids look beautiful today. They're only outshone by our beautiful bride, Jackie. So this day is all about my younger brother, Todd, and the love of his life, which you all, of course, know is himself. If you've ever seen Todd's Facebook page, it's a tribute to his own greatness. I mean, even the background page says, "Welcome to Toddland." When we were growing up, Todd used to have a favorite saying he would announce every time he entered a room. "Behold the glory that is Todd." Todd was born on November 20th, 1979, and I did some research into what other events occurred on that day. There were some pretty interesting things. November 20th, 1820, an 80-ton sperm whale attacked the Essex, a Nantucket whaling ship, some 2,000 miles off the coast of South America. This story later inspired the book Moby Dick, which was written in 1851. Also on that date in 1962 was the Cuban Missile Crisis ended. And on November 20th, 1985, Microsoft Windows 1.0 was released. As for Jackie, she was born September 17th, 1984. And there were some interesting things that occurred on her birthday as well. September 17th, 1630, the city of Boston was founded. In 1787, the Constitution was signed, and in 1920, the American Professional Football Association was founded, which later became the NFL. And more recently, September 17th, 2011, the Occupy Wall Street movement began in New York City. Now, I know Todd was not a big fan of the Occupy movement, but I'm not sure why. Because to me, it reminded me of Todd's childhood, when he would spend about 23 hours a day every weekend on the couch. Todd had 2 passions when he was a child. There were cartoons and candy. Every weekend, I would go down to our pond fishing or play outside, and where was Todd? On the couch, watching cartoons, with a bag of candy in his lap. Todd loved sugar. We would go out for dinner with my parents, and my mother would have to remove the sugar packets and cubes from the table, because Todd would eat them all, and then 20 minutes later, pass out asleep with his head on the table. Todd once had a sketch done of himself, and it's a picture of Todd in a fighter jet, holding a bag of candy, with a quote that read, "This jet runs on candy." Todd eventually grew out of the cartoons when he discovered his passion for sports. Todd excelled in hockey and lacrosse. He even broke the Rivers School record in lacrosse for goals scored as an 8th grader, with 52 goals in one season. Todd again broke the varsity record his senior year, also amassing 52 goals. Todd's strong interest in sports was, however, also met with his strong disinterest in his coaches. I can remember one day when Todd was playing youth hockey, he got into an argument with the coach and sat down on the ice and refused to get off. The coach literally had to drag him off the ice. I can also recall when Todd was in high school at Rivers and got into a disagreement with the coach and proceeded to throw his stick up into the stands and skate off. One would think that this behavior would be left behind after graduating high school, but no. From what I've been told by his Babson lacrosse teammates, many of whom are here tonight, Todd had a very colorful relationship with his Babson lacrosse coach. Todd was kicked out of practice more than any player in history. And I find it ironic. The coach was kicking him out of the very field that bear his name, McDowell